So what is up, guys? I know I'm a little late to this party, but I've been working the last few nights, but this came in Thursday morning for me, and a lot of people have been talking about it. Um, the Oakland Athletics will soon become the Las Vegas A's. Um, Not a whole lot has been discussed. There's been old renderings of a stadium that almost looks like a goddamn spaceship. That are, yeah, that are out there. Don't know if that's going to be the actual sort of thing because that one looks like it's going to have a retractable roof to it. But no, this stadium is just the stadium price for this is going to be ridiculous. Like, some people are talking about how it's going to be like a $1.5 billion stadium, and I'm like, no, this stadium's going to easily cost, a few billion. It's going to probably top out near about what it was for SoFi because just of how extravagant this thing is. They're probably going to put a fixed dome on top of this thing. Maybe they might do what they did with SoFi, but they're probably going to put a fixed dome on this damn thing because, the only couple of months that it's really hospitable to human beings in Vegas is April and May to some extent. The rest of the year, it is blistering hot. It is so damn miserable. I've been there before in the middle of June and in the middle of September, and it is the same. It is always like 118 degrees. So, um, they'll probably end up putting a fixed dome on this thing. They're only talking about a capacity of, I think, about 35,000, if that, which is going to be very small in terms of what we're used to with stadiums. But if you've noticed a trend with stadiums, particularly in the MLB, they're actually getting smaller because there's so many games. You have like 100 and like what is 120 games or something like that a year, and it's just like and about maybe 60 to 80 of those games are actually held at home. You're not going to be able to fill all those seats every single time. And the MLB's noticing that they're losing money, so we're gonna start seeing a trend of downsizing sports stadiums. Like, they might soon even get rid of like the whole upper deck thing altogether at some point. So, you might start seeing something where, you might end up getting something that's a little bit larger than at your AAA minor league stadium. But point being, they're going to end up having about a 30 plus thousand capacity stadium in Vegas. They've already announced it. It's going to be just north of Allegiant Stadium, across I-15 from the Strip. It's going to be like right across from like the Luxor and the T-Mobile Arena and all that. So you're going to have like all three sports teams in the same vicinity. It's all going to be within walking distance. You know, like, this is going to end up being big for Vegas because Vegas has just very quickly become an up and coming sports city. It was literally an up and coming sports city, and now it's actually becoming like a major sports hub. And a lot of that has to do with like the gambling and everything like that. But hey, that brings in a lot of tourist dollars. That brings in a lot of revenue for the state and the city and the county. So hey. But yeah, no, they announced it on Wednesday night. They called the mayor of Oakland and told her, hey, sorry, but we're going to explore other options. She was less than happy, but considering the fact that the city of Oakland has been dragging its feet for 25 years, probably longer, it's about time. I mean, the Oakland Coliseum, it's old, it's rotting, it's crumbling. It's been there since the late 1960s, and it's the last of the multi-purpose concrete donuts, and it should have been knocked down 20 years ago with the rest of them, and somehow it's managed to just keep just keep moving on. It's like my great grandmother, 96 years old and still, and just still chugging along. That's basically what the Coliseum is. The Coliseum has just been a rotting eyesore and a dump for years. I've been to it a few times, and I have a lot of memories of going to those games and stuff like that. But it was a dump back then, and it's still a dump now. I know that this is really hard to take for a lot of A's fans, especially the diehard A's fans, the few thousand of you that actually show up to the games. But it's going to happen. And I know a lot of people, like me, have made memories with their granddads and their dads and stuff like that, but, times change. The A's have moved now. This is the fourth time that they've moved in their franchise history. They started in Philadelphia, then they moved to Kansas City, and they were there for about 15 years, and then they ended up moving to Oakland, and they spent the better part of the last 6 decades in Oakland. And just like how it was in Philadelphia, times change. They need new scenery. They need they need a change of pace and an arid climate. So they're gonna they're packing their bags and they're moving. Now here's another thing. The A's may not wait until 2027, which is when it's expected the stadium will actually be completed, and that could still be delayed by even a couple of years. So the A's have reached an agreement with the AAA team, the Las Vegas Aviators, and could possibly move into Las Vegas Ballpark, which might actually work out better for the A's. They've been struggling with attendance, so hey, you get you bring a new this new team to town. You build up a fan base. Of course, the tickets are going to be a little bit more expensive, but hey, you can, it's going to be that draw. It's going to be that desire, that want. So it's going to be like something that everybody's going to be dying to get into, and then that way when they actually have their hard opening for the team, when the new stadium opens up, they'll be able to actually be able to build up that fan base. And I think that's kind of where the Oakland A's are going. The team is their lease is up with the Coliseum next year, and so I hate to say it, but 2023 and 2024, these might either this will be the final season the A's play in Oakland, or next year will be the final season that they play in Oakland. I'm going to just call it now, but I don't think that the A's are going to be signing a short-term lease with the city of Oakland, and I don't think the city of Oakland is going to be wanting to play ball with them either. So, A's are moving to Vegas, and it's probably the final move is like the actual move is probably going to take place next year. So just putting it out there. This has been widely talked about. I know this is really hard for a lot of people. It's really hard for the city of Oakland. I mean, you just lost the Warriors. They went across the bay to San Francisco. You just lost the Raiders to Vegas. Now the A's are following suit. I mean, it's a tough time, but there was also a report a few years ago that said that Oakland has become a substandard city for professional sports. And, I mean, you go into that city, I mean, it's trying to make some progress, but it's just not the city it was back in the 1960s. It's kind of in the same, vein that Detroit is, but at least Detroit's making some steps to rebound. Oakland has been on the brink of bankruptcy for years. It's got a lot of problems. So, it's going to be one of those things that, they've been struggling for years to try to get a new stadium, and they just haven't been able to do it. I remember back in the mid 2000s when they were trying to get Cisco Field up and going in Fremont, that went belly up. Then you had that terrible proposal to put them in San Jose, which is just encroaching on the Giants' turf, and it's just that wasn't going to work. What are you going to call them, the San Jose A's? Like, no. Um, and then there was the proposal to tear down the Coliseum and rebuild on the same site. That didn't really go anywhere. You had the idea of building on the Howard Terminal, and of course now that's pretty much gone tits up. So there's been numerous proposals. Those are just a couple of them that I just remember distinctly. But yeah, it's all over about the crying at this point. Like I said, I have a lot of memories. I've gone to a few games at the Coliseum, and it's gonna be finally sad when that wrecking ball hits that concrete. But I guess there's a moral of the story. At least Mount Davis finally is gonna fall. But yeah, that's basically all I got for this one. So yeah, I'm Red Pagan Nicole, and this has been Red Pagan Sports, guys. Until next time.